Imagine the skies of World War II, a battleground unlike the world had ever seen. Families lived in fear of air raid sirens, and the night sky would be ablaze. But there's an untold story. A squadron of women not just participating, but excelling and instilling fear in the heart of the enemy. These were the Night Witches, an all-female bombing regiment of the Soviet Air Force. They flew undetected, their bravery echoing through the night. Today, we unravel the incredible tale of these fearless women and their uncelebrated heroism. The story of the Night Witches begins with Marina Raskova, a legendary figure in Soviet aviation and the first woman to become a navigator in the Soviet Air Force. As World War II intensified, Raskova received numerous letters from women across the Soviet Union, expressing a fervent desire to join the combat effort. These women were pilots, engineers, and mechanics, all eager to defend their country. Recognizing their potential, Raskova sought and obtained permission from Joseph Stalin himself to form 3 all-female air regiments. Among these, the most famous was the 588th Night Bomber Regiment, later known as the Night Witches. These women, many barely out of their teens, came from different backgrounds, but they shared a common goal: to serve their country in its time of need. The selection process was rigorous. Raskova, a strict yet inspiring leader, demanded excellence. The training was brutal and swift, with courses that typically took years, condensed into mere months. These women trained in harsh conditions, learning to navigate, fly, and drop bombs. They also faced skepticism and ridicule from their male counterparts, who doubted their abilities. But these women were determined to prove themselves. They mastered the art of flying the Polikarpov Po-2, a biplane originally used for training and crop dusting, and turned it into a weapon of war. As they prepared for combat, the Night Witches transformed from a group of determined young women into a cohesive and formidable unit. They were ready to take on the night sky, armed with little more than their bravery and skill. Little did the world know these women would soon become one of the most feared forces in the night skies over the Eastern Front. The moniker Night Witches wasn't self-chosen. It was a name bestowed in fear by their enemies. German soldiers, startled by the whooshing sound these women pilots made as they swept down in their Polikarpov Po-2 biplanes, likened it to the swoosh of a witch's broom. This noise, caused by the pilots cutting their engines mid-air and gliding to the target in silence, became a harbinger of doom for the German troops. Ironically, what was intended as a derogatory label became a symbol of pride and defiance for these brave aviators. The name Night Witches encapsulated their stealth and effectiveness. They turned this attempt to belittle their efforts into a testament of their skill and fearlessness. Embracing this identity, the Night Witches demonstrated that they were not only a crucial part of the Soviet war effort, but also a force to be reckoned with in the skies of World War II. The Night Witches faced a daunting array of challenges, both in the sky and on the ground. Their primary aircraft, the Polikarpov Po-2, was outdated and seemingly unsuitable for combat. Made largely of wood and canvas, these biplanes were slow, vulnerable to enemy fire, and lacked defensive armament. The maximum speed of the Po-2 was so low that it actually fell below the stall speed of some of the German fighter planes, making it difficult for them to be targeted effectively in combat. Yet these limitations became their strengths in disguise. The rudimentary construction of the Po-2 made it extremely maneuverable and capable of taking off and landing in small, improvised airstrips closer to the front lines. Its maximum speed was slower than the stall speed of the German planes, making it hard for the enemy fighters to shoot them down. Additionally, the aircraft's simplicity meant it could be repaired quickly, even on the front lines and with minimal resources. But their adversities weren't limited to their equipment. The Night Witches operated in harsh conditions, flying in darkness, often in inclement weather, and without the luxury of radar or radio guidance. Their missions often required precise navigation under moonlight or in complete darkness, relying solely on maps and compasses. Moreover, the Night Witches faced the constant threat of death or capture. Being captured as a female combatant could mean facing harsher treatment than their male counterparts. Despite these risks, they persisted, emboldened by their cause and camaraderie. Their bravery was unparalleled. The Night Witches flew multiple missions each night, navigating a gauntlet of anti-aircraft fire and enemy fighters. Their survival and success hinged on their skill, cunning and the bonds they formed with each other. A sisterhood forged in the crucible of war. The Night Witches' tactics were a testament to their ingenuity and daring. Operating under the cover of darkness, they executed what can only be described as guerrilla warfare in the sky. Their primary tactic was a stealthy approach to bombing. Flying at low altitudes, they would approach their targets silently. Just before reaching the target, they would cut their engines and glide, releasing their bombs with precision and stealth. This technique not only reduced the noise of their approach, but also made them difficult targets for the enemy anti-aircraft guns. The psychological impact of these tactics on the German troops was profound. The sudden and silent appearance of the Night Witches, coupled with the damage they inflicted, led to a significant morale drop among German soldiers. The unpredictability and frequency of their attacks left the enemy in constant apprehension of when and where they would strike next. Each night, the Night Witches would carry out up to a dozen or more sorties, relentlessly harassing German troops and keeping them on edge. Their targets included supply lines, ammunition depots, and troop concentrations. Despite the rudimentary nature of their aircraft, the Night Witches perfected the art of dropping bombs with remarkable accuracy. Their strategy also involved a level of deception. They would often use diversionary tactics, where one group of planes would draw the attention of searchlights and defenses, while another group would attack from a different direction. This not only maximized the effectiveness of their attacks, but also minimized their own losses. The Night Witches also adapted to the evolving nature of the war. As the German defenses improved, they modified their tactics, maintaining their effectiveness throughout the conflict. Their unyielding spirit and tactical acumen made them one of the most formidable units on the Eastern Front, proving that bravery and brains often trump brute force in the theater of war. Behind the Night Witches' formidable reputation were stories of individual courage and resilience. Nadezhda Popova, one of the regiment's most distinguished pilots, flew an astounding 852 missions. Her story reflects the bravery and determination that defined the Night Witches. On one harrowing night, her plane was hit by anti-aircraft fire. Despite a damaged wing and fuel tank, Popova managed to complete her mission and return safely. Such stories of grit and defiance were common among these pilots. Yevdokia Bershanskaya, the regiment's commander, was a strict disciplinarian, but deeply respected and fiercely protective of her pilots. Under her leadership, the regiment not only excelled in combat but also fostered a sense of family. These women shared everything, from their cramped living quarters to the fear and exhilaration of combat. They celebrated their triumphs and mourned their losses together. In the face of adversity, they found strength in each other, forming bonds that went beyond the battlefield. Irina Sebrova, another notable member, completed over 1,000 missions. On returning from a mission, her plane was riddled with bullets, but she remained undeterred. Sebrova, like her comrades, was driven by a relentless will to contribute to the war effort. Their camaraderie extended beyond the skies. They would gather to sing songs, share stories, and even piece together handmade dresses from parachute silk. These moments of levity provided a respite from the war and strengthened their bond. Yet, their stories weren't just about bravery in the air. They also faced discrimination and skepticism on the ground. Despite this, they persevered, proving their doubters wrong with every successful mission. The Night Witches' story is not just a tale of war. It's a narrative of sisterhood, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to their cause, making their mark in a world dominated by men. As the war ended, the Night Witches returned home, but their journey didn't conclude with parades or widespread recognition. Initially, their contributions were overshadowed in a world eager to forget the horrors of war. However, over time, the legacy of these extraordinary women began to emerge from the shadows of history. The Night Witches were awarded numerous medals and honors for their bravery. Most notably, 23 of them became heroes of the Soviet Union, the highest distinction in the nation. Yet, for many years, their story remained largely unknown outside the Soviet Union. Today, the Night Witches hold a unique place in history. They shattered the stereotypes of their time, proving that courage and skill in combat are not confined to one gender. Their story has inspired books, films, and plays, bringing their remarkable tale to new generations. In Russia, their legacy is celebrated as part of the great patriotic narrative of World War II. Monuments and museums stand in tribute to their bravery. Internationally, the Night Witches have become symbols of female empowerment and resilience in the face of adversity. The Night Witches' story transcends their military achievements. It is a testament to breaking barriers and challenging norms. They didn't just fight for their country, they fought for the recognition that bravery knows no gender, paving the way for future generations of women in military service. As we close the chapter on the remarkable story of the Night Witches, we're left in awe of their courage and resilience. Their legacy transcends time, serving out as a beacon of strength and determination. They rewrote the rules of the sky, proving that valor knows no gender. Reflecting on their inspiring journey, what lessons do you think we can learn from the Night Witches? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments below.